Hi, this is Corey Jeffers, tech coach at Smith Elementary School. I'm going to show you today a couple of things about how you can interact with websites inside of Smart Notebooks. My intention is to help you learn how to do this and then try to give you some ideas as to how you can have your smartboard turn into a more of an interactive station for students in elementary school. So first of all, if I have a website that I really like that I'd like to use inside of Smart Notebook, like this one here, it'd be beneficial if there's a way that I could import this directly into Smart Notebook so that I could have the bead rack, say, on one side, and then some questions or some activities on the other side. So in order to do that, I just go to the website that I'd like to embed into my Smart Notebook file, and I can go ahead to the top here, just click on it, and then push copy. And if I go into Smart Notebook, I can start a new file in Smart Notebook. Okay, so if I go and start a new notebook file in Smart Notebook, generally the Smart Notebook files will look like this. You just have one blank document here. So there's a tool that's called the Internet Browser tool that some of us know about that can help us with this strategy. So if I go to customize the toolbar in the upper right hand corner, I can scroll down until I find that Internet tool, and I can drag that tool up into my boxes here, just kind of like I'll do with this classroom audio one. But I've already dragged this Internet Browser one in there, so let's go ahead and find that one, and we'll go ahead and use that. So I see Internet Browser here. I'll drag that up there, and I'll show you how to do this. So now if I go ahead and take this Internet Browser tool, click on it, it will bring up the Smart Notebook Internet Browser, and it will automatically have a website in there automatically for me. So I'm going to go ahead and take that one instead, highlight it, and paste the one that I want. So I'm going to go ahead and click on this and try to get it deleted. And then I'm going to go and paste my own website in there. Now, if I don't see paste right there, I can push Control and V, and that will paste the website that I want. Let's try that again. Copy my number rack, go into Smart Notebook, and then paste the one that I want, and push Enter. And notice now that the bead rack is actually part of my Smart Notebook document, and I can move it around and use it as I need to. But this doesn't help me too much with having the bead rack on one side and some questions or some activities on the other side. So what I can do in order to make that happen is click on this View Screens area and go to Dual Page Display. I've actually chosen to keep mine up here because I use it all the time. So I'm going to go to Dual Page Display. And you'll notice now that my bead rack's a little bit smaller, but I can move it around a little bit and drag it. So I'm going to keep on dragging until it kind of gets a little bit taller than it is wide. And then I push the little pin button right here because I want this website to always be the website that comes up. I don't want it to change to Smart Notebook or anything. I want it to stay at this bead rack website. So I push the pin button right there. The next thing I'll do is go ahead and add another page. And when I add another page, I have the opportunity to use a different type of pinning tool. So I'm going to go ahead and drag my browser down just a little bit, so I have some white space in the top here. And I can use this pin page tool in Smart Notebook. And what that does is that if I have multiple pages up here, let's go ahead and add another one, you'll notice that I can type some text onto the page on the right-hand side and say that this is maybe Activity 1. And the next page, if I push Next here, is actually going to be Activity 2. But the benefit of this is now that my bead rack stays on the left-hand side. So here's Activity 1. Students could interact with Activity number 1 and build whatever they need to for Activity 1, and then move on to Activity number 2 by pushing the Next Page button, and then do whatever they need to for Activity number 2, which is kind of nice. I actually have an example of what this would look like in a number rack tutorial template that I've made. So I'm not going to save the changes to that one because I don't need to. And so every time I open this number rack tutorial template, it automatically saves the fact that I want this pinned website here. I do have to pin it myself, but it does save the fact that I have that website already shown. And then it also shows that I have this set up as a dual page display. So if I push pin right here to keep the website up, and now I push next, I notice that I have an activity on the left-hand side. So you might have a station set up where you have a couple of questions like this one, where you would say, for example, there are 4 here, how many are hidden? and students have to go through and actually write down using a pen or something like that how many are hidden in this area here. So they might try to write down the answer for that one, or show in some way their thinking. So let's go to the next example. Say we're in grade 3. We might say record all the combinations to make 15. Well, in this case, there's only 10 right there, so we'd have to actually add another rack. So we go ahead and add that rack by clicking down here. And then kids might have a couple of combinations that they choose. So they might say there's 10 right here, and then there's 15 or something like that. And you have a couple of options that they can do. So what you might have them do in the end to show their thinking is you might have them choose one combination and either drag or paste a picture below. The way they would do that is by using the floating tools that we have in Smart Notebook, which is kind of a cool thing. So if you have the floating tools open, you can just go down to the bottom right hand corner. You can click this and say hide floating tools or show floating tools. So if I show those, they pop up for me. And inside my floating tools, I have a capture tool. So I can click this area capture tool, and I can actually capture one of these pages right here if I need to. So what would happen in the end then is after I captured this, the students could actually do that themselves. They would click and drag over with their hands on the whiteboard, and they could actually click and drag over there, and it would actually create a picture to show one possibility of 15. Now it pushes this down to the bottom of my presentation here, right after this page. So that can cause this to get a little out of order, but that's okay. At least they can show their work. So in the end, what it would end up looking like for this particular page is that you would have some pictures that might look something like this. So here's a way to make 15, and what we saw before was adding 10 and 5. That's another way to make 15. So you might see that their answers are here. So this would be a way that they can show that show their work. At a little higher level in 5th grade, you might see something like this where it says, use the arrays to find factors of 30. So if I want to find factors of 30, I'm going to have to know to add a couple of these. So you can tell how many of these the kids would add. So I'm going to go ahead and add 6 right here. And so if I choose factors of 30, I might say that if I have 6 of these and just say, all right, basically this is 30 right here. However, if I want to do it a different way, just to show the quantities of 30, I can say that we have basically this kind of thing going on here. So this would be factors of 32, okay, or factors of 30 also, I should say. So there's other ways for them to show it. So in the end, they might use that same capture tool and come up with some things like this, where they would show exactly what I have here, or they would show something similar to that. So these are all using arrays to get factors of 30. So that's a quick way to just get a snapshot of that. And really, you can use any website that you want to on the right-hand side and put up virtually anything that you want to on the left-hand side. So this could be, on the right-hand side, could be all kinds of subjects that you might want the kids to learn about. So it's a pretty useful feature. If you need help with it, please contact a tech coach, or if you're in one of my buildings, certainly let me know, and I'll do my best to come and help you with it. Thanks for watching.